What's going on, guys? Gonna do this voiceover thing for the first time, give it a shot. John Penton GNCC, round number 6, and man, it was tough. It's lots of rain leading up to this event. Track was very similar as far as the ruts go to round number 5 at the X Factor, but man, this place is just a monster of its own. It's super slick, and these types of conditions, it's tacky here and there, but really deceiving because it digs out and the ruts are just like ice. They get pretty deep, but you get to a hard bottom and just no traction to be found. So it was a lot different and similar than the last race, and it kind of shows. I wasn't feeling quite as on point as the race before, but had a good result. Ended up getting second, but yeah, here's the start.
GNCC Racing! Seconds! And row number 1, the XC1 Pro will be off and rolling at this Wiseco John Penton GNCC.
Yeah, so I get a great jump, and yeah, just out dragged there by Ashburn on the inside. I sneak around, smooth sailing, think I'm gonna get the whole shot, and then boom, he blows my doors off again, but he goes wide. So sneak around the inside. He gets $250, but yeah, I lead everybody in the woods. So I guess you can call it a compromise. I don't know. Maybe I should have went for the money. But yeah, so here we are across the road up the hill, and as soon as we make this right-hander, man, shallow little rut on the outside, and it's already like kind of feeling out the track and seeing it just how slick it is underneath me. And I was a little bit timid. I knew that I always try to push here, like as soon as I get in the woods, and just feel things out and just see exactly how much traction and just exactly how hard I can really push my bike. But yeah, like I said, it's just one of those things. I got into this little patch of woods and I felt just a little sketchy. I mean, just didn't have it to where I could really go for it. I didn't feel like. So I end up settling back down here in a minute and just kind of cruising around this first lap, and just trying to stay smart and pick good lines, because there's a ton on this track here, and you'll see in just a second. Yeah, so we come into this. I kind of jacked that turn up. I missed that little inside, but as soon as we start heading up this hill, I know it's just going to be a kind of a slow pick your way through the woods kind of first lap. And yep, almost missed this turn, and Ashburn's still right on me, and we're finally getting into some mud and ruts. And yeah, it was pretty brutal this first lap. The morning race, they make a lot of these straight up and down ruts, and they're really deep and awkward to go around, because as soon as you lean your bike over in the turn, you just kind of, you can't get any lean angle. You just you kind of frame out in the rut going around the turn. So it doesn't allow you to go super fast, and obviously you see how deep that was. Water filled up with water already, and another bonehead move going up. I should have known better here. Come out in the middle of this hill, kind of lost all my drive, all my momentum. Should have stayed at the bottom. But yeah, I knew it was going to be a tough day after this first half a mile of racetrack, and was already making uncharacteristic mistakes, and just not really head in the game right away like I normally can be. So yeah, like I said, I kind of settle down and just make sure I'm not doing anything dumb right here, and to go way back in the pack. So that's the biggest thing. When you're not really feeling it, there's no reason to start pushing and ride over your head and make yourself go backwards. You just kind of settle in and just race as hard as the track really allows you to. And I feel like I've gotten really good at that here later in my career. You know, before I would have done something dumb and tried to keep pushing and slid over that hill or something silly, just dumb little mistakes. And I've really been able to eliminate that so far, late in my career. And But yeah, that's one of the biggest keys to staying up front the entire race too. Because like I said, those opening laps, you know, you're all fresh and ready to go, and you don't really know how the track's going to feel underneath you on the bike, and it jumps up and bites you really quick. And then once you put yourself in the hole, it's really hard to dig yourself out. Another bad line. I should have went the outside, buried it in there. And yeah, as you can see, man, it's just ruddy, muddy spots, and it's even hard to see this section right here. There's pretty sloppy and slick right here. Kind of, you can't hardly tell, but this was another tough little section here. It was super long ruts, and yeah, like you can see the main line is just kind of polished away. Like under those ruts, there's no traction, or at the bottom of those ruts, there's no traction. Another bonehead line here. The morning guys must have got bottled up, and I kind of got sucked right into it, but the bottom was way faster, and I was trying to wiggle my way back down there, and I kept going left. I don't know why. I kept going left. It was way faster to be over here in what looks like slop, but just one of those days. Come up to some team guys here. The morning guys, a lot of them missed this hill, so it stayed kind of good, but it was still slick. They didn't doze this part of the track from yesterday's quad race, or they didn't doze a lot of it from yesterday's quad race just because it would have made it so sloppy and would have just kind of killed the racetrack to begin with. So we had to deal with the quad ruts there for a while, and that's really tough too on the first lap. That's pretty challenging in itself. And then late in the race, it creates these straight up and down ruts. You can see I almost like got wedged in that thing right there. But yeah. Another bad line right here. Good Lord. This little hill got pretty challenging. It was already super, as you can see how much I struggled just trying to make it up. It wasn't even steep or anything, just that rut was so deep. It was already feet off the pegs pretty much going up it, I remember on the first lap. And once you get your feet off the pegs, you can't really center your weight, and all your weight goes to the back, and you can't really steer, so it was tough. Kind of scoping out lines there, trying to look and see what's going to open up later in the race. Now right here, after we're getting ready to drop down this hill and into a fresh new section, which I don't think anybody had any idea that they were going to put in. It got really gnarly. We kind of go along this bench in the woods here. There's a super steep hill to my right. You make a mistake and go down over it, it's going to be a long day and a long climb back out, that's for sure. But this section was actually got really technical at the end of the race. You can't really see, but there's coming up here in a couple of little spots where we kind of go down into these gullies. It's quite rocky in spots. It's already super slick. So yeah, like here's one of them. It's got pretty ate out and a little slippery, and we turn left and go up this hill, and I about get hung up. There's kind of rocks littered all over right there, and it's a little steeper than it looks on camera, and like I said, just no traction. So once you lose your momentum, you're kind of dead in the track. Yeah, these quad ruts are super gnarly to navigate on the first lap. It's really easy to lose your balance. Try to ride the middle in spots, but they're so slick. Yeah, here's the hill. You come down, they're all pointing us to the right. I had no idea. I thought the track was supposed to go straight, so I about missed the turn here. And nice little kind of break, and this actually was really sloppy down here. Super slick. It looks like it's pretty good traction underneath of me, but it's actually just ice. So this hill climb right here, this was pretty much a huge factor after the first lap. And like I said, it's not I don't even consider that a hill climb. That's just a standard hill. But we got a ton of vet and B riders out there, and one little hill like that can ruin their day, and they struggled up it all day. We were lapping guys on the second lap, and there were just people all over. I actually didn't make it one lap too, and had to turn around and come back down just because we were trying to just trailblaze up the side of it. But yeah, it was definitely a tough little hill just to navigate with the lappers. There's nothing too technical about it in itself. It was fairly short. You see another bonehead line there, missed the track a little bit. Trying to follow this here, and like I said, nobody walked this section of the track here because it was not marked for us on Saturday to see. And here's where we connect back in, and this got really slick and ate out too. Give the camera a little wipe, make sure she's clean. I was supposed to turn left right there where I looked, and I missed it, so I'm gonna bust over some trees. Almost got passed by Ashburn right there. Sounds like he's right on me. Nice little inside line, try to stay out of some of the ruts and just straight line it from point A to point B. Scope this line out Saturday walking. Nothing really much faster, but just kind of out of the ruts and not as slick, and straight down to the bottom of the hill instead of off camber around the hill. So yeah, those are just kind of some of the lines I look for. Just if it was a dry race, I probably would have never have taken that line, but seeing it being wet and ruddy, I knew that hill was it'd probably end up being a little bit quicker to kind of skirt down through the inside. Like I said, we got 25 feet left and right of the arrows, and that was well within the boundaries of the course itself. So. Another little technical right-hander that got pretty sloppy late in the race too. It was slick and it was actually kind of steep at the bottom, and those ruts on the inside, like I said, they didn't fix a lot of the stuff from the quad race, so it's hard to be in the quad rut because those guys just polished the rut out so quick. So I just tried to get to the left of the quad ruts and then kind of skirt up through a bike-only line, and looked like not too many of the morning riders had taken that. So here I go again, kind of missing the straight line to the hill and zigzagging, losing all my momentum. Popping out to some trackside pitting here. We're about 8 mile marker, so we're about three quarters of the way through the lap, and it's kind of nice this little section here just to get a breather and take it easy out here. Like I said, this track was pretty brutal late in the race just because it pulled you so many directions, and there's not a lot of traction to have, so any little break you can get out in the out in the fields, out in the trackside pitting, it's nice to take your time and take a couple big deep breaths and get ready to go back in the woods. This is actually a nice long section of just trackside pitting, and that just skirted the outside of the motocross track. stood up in the ruts, some deep stuff. And if you pay real close attention, right there where I go into that rut, there's actually a ginormous snake. And if anybody knows me, I hate snakes. I took a couple looks down. I felt the thing hit my front tire and my boots. I was making sure it wasn't like wrapped up on my foot peg or something. And yeah, it was totally caught me off guard and like freaked me out for a second. But yeah, we dropped down into this bike only section, into this gnarly little creek, and yeah, stuff like this is pretty fun. It's not bad. I take a silly line right here and about fall out into the creek, but yeah, late in the race, man, sections like that in a GNCC just really kind of suck because we catch so many slow guys, and we always catch them in the hardest spots because that's the spots that they go the slowest, and we go that much faster than them through stuff like that. And in a section like that, they got nowhere to go. So if you got a 10-second lead and you get behind one guy, it's all gone. So here's another little section. For some reason, I thought we were going to turn left there. I have no idea why, so I kind of stopped and checked and double-checked. But yeah, up this hill, and man, it's just ice. Like, you can see the dirt in the center and then the dirt on the right and the left, but in the middle of that four-wheeler track is just pure like riding on a slick rock. This section right here is always, this side of the track usually has the best dirt every year. It seems to always like rut out and be the tackiest and loamiest stuff. But the ruts were just so deep that you couldn't really carry any speed. You just kind of had to pick your way through it. They didn't fix anything, and yeah, it just, like I said, like I've been saying the entire time, man, it was just kind of a two-rut race, just because of how we rode behind the quads, and they weren't able to fix the track before our race, in a lot of areas, just because it was so muddy. Trying to get out of the quad ruts, find a nice little bike line here and there. Not really any good. Just trying to get out of the ruts mainly. Find some stuff. Completely botched this. Forgot about that log on the outside. And like I said, super slick. Hit the brake and just spun around. But get passed by Ashburn and Thad, and here's Baylor. So we're just gonna jump in behind them, and I think this is the first time all year I've posted a helmet cam where I'm following somebody for an extended period of time. Yeah, but like I said earlier, I could tell at the beginning of the lap, within the first half a mile, that there's probably not much of a chance I was going to be able to sprint and try to get away. So I was just kind of biding my time and not trying to make that big mistake. You know, I had a little tip over. That's okay. It's nothing detrimental. I'm in 4th place right here, and the leaders are just, 5 seconds in front of me. So I'm not really freaking out. Just staying calm and keeping myself in position, and trying to stay off the ground and not make any more mistakes is key. And I'm just going to follow these guys and key off of them and see what they're doing differently than what I would have thought of doing myself. So it is kind of nice on a track like this to follow somebody, especially if if you're not really feeling it. Just follow them and see some of their lines, and come up with your own after that, and put the mixture of both together. Just like this, I'm following Stu, and Bollinger comes to the inside of me right there in that little spot and gets ahead of me. Now here's where, in a situation like this for me, I'm okay being 3rd or 4th, but past that, I'm not too comfortable. I like to be, 2nd through 4th. I don't like being any further back than 5th, because if you do make another mistake and another couple of guys get by you, those leaders get away really, really quick from the guys in 6th to 8th. So especially late in the lap like this, it's already getting spread out. So if you do make another mistake and go back to, say, 7th, This track can be hard to pass on in spots just because it's kind of one line from the ruts, and it's tough to just straight up pass somebody in the woods unless they take a bad line or make a mistake. So yeah, like I said, I want to make sure I stay around, you know, third or fourth, fifth if I have to, but definitely want to make sure I'm staying in touch with these guys in front of me. You see Thad and Baylor. Thad takes kind of a bad line here, trying to. That outside's usually fast in his defense, but I knew this year wasn't going to be. It was really sloppy out there and big water hole, so didn't really work out for me. Getting ready to come up onto the motocross track and the finish line area. There's another tiny section. It's not tiny, but it's about a mile long, just after the pro pits. And I don't get it on camera because obviously I always yank my GoPro off my helmet, and that's just so I don't, you know, lose the thing. It's a 3-hour race, and there a few years ago when I was running my helmet cam, I would seem to always, you know, have trouble finishing the race with them on my helmet. So I've just decided to start pulling them off after the first lap to save my GoPro and get more than 1 or 2 uses out of it. But I know a lot of you guys are going to say, oh, you should run the chin mount and this and that, and it looks better, it's a better angle, it's the only way to run it. But you know, there's a few reasons I don't. For one, I've got this big giant Red Bull logo on my chin bar, and it takes pretty massive priority over running a GoPro just so you guys can see it at a angle of your liking. They pay the bills, so we're going to keep them happy. And also, I just personally, it's looks pretty ugly to me. Not a fan of the way it looks. I think it looks kind of silly. It's almost like running a mohawk on your helmet. But yeah, so, and also I don't see how you can get much air through the you know how the front of your helmet's ventilated. You know, that's ventilated for a reason. And like I just said, where it's a 3-hour race, I don't want to clog that vent for the entire 3 hours either with a GoPro. But yeah, so I just twisted off my helmet. You know, if you yank on that thing, it's never going to come off. But if you just slightly twist it with a little bit of pressure, a little bit of force, it'll pop right off pretty easily every time. So that's a good tip for you guys to get your, you know, your sticky mounts off your helmet if you ever see the need to get it off. But hope you guys enjoyed the video, and yeah, maybe we'll do a couple more if you guys enjoy the voiceover type videos. And yeah, thanks for watching.